Let me skip down to optimism. I will go through these, but one sec. This is an example of one that we looked at that didn't work out. So remember, same thing. I wrote womp womp. When we first looked at optimism, we said, hey, we want to get above the 50 and we want to make higher lows. It was looking good because it was making higher lows here. It was a low, higher low, higher low, higher low, equal low. Okay, but look what happened at the 50% retracement level at $3. Hit it from the underside, rejected. Hit it from the underside again, rejected. You see why there is I can't think of the right word. Do you see why I'm trying to distinguish between strong alts and weak alts? This was looking strong, but because it did not pass one of the two criteria I gave you, and it in fact rejected it from the underside twice, made a double top at the 50% retracement level, this is no good for us. This is why you don't want to get in on things too early. Again, showing you the importance of patience. You don't want to be getting in on things like this too early just because, okay, it's cheap and it looks good. And oh, you said it's making higher highs. Okay, I'm going to get in. You get in and then it rejects. You're waiting and it rejects again. So I don't know what's going to happen to optimism. I don't know if it can just maybe shoots up from here. But looking at it is right now doesn't look very good. Ariadne says it was so strong. It was looking so optimistic. Optimism was looking so optimistic. But see, this is why we have to have negative confluence. We have to give ourselves, when we take a trade, I teach you about confluence. You want to stack the confluence, layer the confluence, so you have more edge on your side. Like you want your competitive edge in the markets. You want to put the edge on your side in trading because then you will win more times than you lose. But you also want to have negative confluence. Negative confluence is something that tells you to stay out of a trade. You need to identify negative confluence factors that will keep you out of a trade until they are cleared. So I hope that makes sense. I said this was a negative confluence if we don't break it. We need to be above the 50% retracement on altcoins or any coin, any chart actually at this moment. We want to be above the 50% retracement because that shows us this chart is strong. This chart is looking good, it's strong, it's promising. So that is our negative confluence. We don't just want to jump in on things and not identify negative confluence, not identify things that will keep us out of a trade until we clear it, because those are the ones that don't have the edge on your side as much as the ones where the negative confluence is cleared. So you also might remember some of the other charts I showed you when I first showed you them. The 50 EMA was in the way, if you remember that. And I said, well, we need to break through them first before I would look to get in. The 50 EMA was a negative confluence at that time because of the lack of momentum in the crypto space. Because BTC was in an unsure spot. And if BTC dropped, then it can take the entire market with it. But, that was when I was using the 50 EMA on the daily as negative confluence. But other times when things are flying and booming and rockets and moon emojis are everywhere, 50 EMA isn't something that I would put as much weight on as a resistance factor, as a negative confluence factor. In those times, it's not a path of resistance because we have so much momentum on our side. But times like these, or times that we were just in, yes, the daily 50 or even the weekly 50 and the monthly 50 EMA will keep me out of a trade because I'm not going to commit to something if it's as weak as marriages are today, right? I don't want to commit to something that's so weak that can just drop and fall. Again, like optimism. I don't want to commit to this if it doesn't clear the negative confluence factor and just falls down.